Welcome back to the Amanda Seales Show. It is your girl, Amanda Seales. I'm joined by DJ Nailz. It is time for the Big Up Let Down. All right. Now, normally I would have sound effects and all of that, but I am talking to you from Grenada. So I don't have all my sound effects this time, but keep listening to the show and you'll get it when we come back. And I'm back in the country. Our big up today goes to Sha'Kyra Aughtry. Now, this is a story that I posted on my Instagram and that has actually gotten a lot of traction since, but I still want to talk about it here on the show because whenever we can really highlight human kindness, we got to do it so that maybe we can normalize it. Sha'Kyra Aughtry and her boyfriend Trent were in their house during this Buffalo crazy snowstorm that affected so many people. And they saw, well, she heard somebody crying out for help outside of her house. And when she opened the door, it was actually an elderly man that was in the snow and that had been out there crying for help, and they hadn't been able to hear him. They heard him. Trent went out there to see what was going on. This man lifted the older man, brought him inside the house. It turns out that the man was a man named Joey who is mentally disabled. He's 65 years old. He had been outside so long that his hands were frostbitten almost to the point of having to be amputated. Wow. Sha'Kyra and Trent brought him in their home with their 3 kids on Christmas, during Christmas, and literally nursed this man until they could get him to the hospital. They weren't able to get him to the hospital that night because there was so much snow and the emergency services line was down in Buffalo. Wow. And she actually 24 hours later, after, bathing this man, feeding this man, nursing this man, went on Facebook and was like, somebody need to come and get this man. He's not about to die in his house. And because of his frostbite wounds were so severe that his hands were looking like they were developing infections and gangrene. And I think a lot of people don't understand frostbite affects your hands the same way a burn does. It's literally just the cold being so cold that it is burning your skin off. So long story short, the people of her neighborhood were able to come and snowplow her driveway so that they could get a truck there to get him to the hospital. And she was able to get in touch with his family and say, we have your brother. But it's a great story for just seeing how just human kindness. They ended up, I'm about to cry. They ended up creating a GoFundMe for both his medical needs and for Sha'Kyra. Do you know that they raised over $167,000 for Sha'Kyra?
Wow. That's
so big. I am going to have her on my podcast, Small Doses. And I was very fortunate to get to DM with her and communicate with her and just give her my just heartfelt applause for her kindness. And it's so often that this type of stuff doesn't even go unnoticed. And I want to also shout out all the other folks, because there were definitely other folks in Buffalo who were extending themselves beyond the reach of their own individual safety to help others. And we have to do this because as we see, the world is getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And Nailz, she saved a whole life, just by being herself.
It's things that are needed in this world right now.
And I want to make sure that we amplify those stories because it can get dark out here, just like it did when we got to the letdown, the darkness that has come in us seeing that the Tory Lanez verdict came out, and even phone calls that he made from the jail came out, and people are still out here trying to say that Megan is lying. And it's just, the letdown goes to all of y'all who really just don't want to believe a victim. And you need to ask yourself why. You need to ask yourself why you don't want to believe a victim once there is so much information brought to you that supports that victim. You need to ask yourself why, even in this case, would you have felt differently if she wasn't a celebrity, right? Would you have listened to her in a different way? Were she not Megan Thee Stallion? These are questions you have to ask yourself. Furthermore, I want you to ask yourself, would you have felt differently if it was 2 men or if it was 2 women? Because I think there's also a large amount of misogynistic people who simply just don't like women and don't believe them. Nonetheless, all y'all get a let down. And if you don't know what you're talking about, the best thing to do is shut it up. Shut it up. Because it's free. Did you know that, Nailz? Did you know it? It's free.
The fact that you're saying to shut up,
Well, you know what's unfortunate is that, you know, shutting up is free and so is audacity. So, you know, it's just a lot of stuff on the free market. But that is our big up let down for today. And I just want to thank everybody who, again, went out there in the storm and helped other people. And shout out to everybody who is making it their business to report things accurately and not with a bias or for the sake of clickbait, like so many people did with the Tory Lanez Meg Thee Stallion case. This is the Amanda Seales Show. We'll be right back, so don't go anywhere.